Hey guys, how y'all doing out there? I hope you're doing well. Listen, I had a really amazing break with um, one of my sisters, and it was just really awesome. It was what you call coming together, um, understanding, learning more about self, um, learning more about our Creator. Um, so this video, if you're not a believer, if you do not subscribe to the Word of God, then this is definitely not for you. Um, or if you don't subscribe to it and you just want to hear it, then by all means, come on in. Um, if you get offended or want to challenge the Word of God, then please go to somebody else's page, because the energy I have is not toward the challenge thing. I don't like it. So therefore, I will not do it. So back to what I'm saying. I'm trying to make this really quick. This thing was yummy, y'all. So story time, which I hardly ever do. I mean, I do it amongst the people I know, but I hardly ever do it. So warning, if you don't want to hear a long drawn out story, then go ahead and swipe or switch or whatever it is that you do. So 2006, I was 6 months pregnant, and or it could have been 2007. It's been so long ago, guys, and I'm a mother of six. So it was with my last baby boy. I think it was 2006 or 2007. And I had gotten into a really, really bad car accident. And the street that it was on was like a really busy street. Like traffic is nonstop in this area. And I lived on that street. My ear, you can't tell now because God is just amazing. But let me see if you can see the back part of my ear. Can you see that? But this here, it was completely severed from here. Only this was on. So this entire ear was severed. Chipped my collarbone. You see that? Broke my pinky. You can probably see pieces of it here. Some scars there. All this was completely skin pulled off. Skin was pulled off my face. Chipped my tooth. Anyway, so was in the car with my daughter. She was a young girl at the time, and my husband, our garage opener was broken, and I would watch him get in the car, kind of with the door open, back up, put it back in gear, pull the garage down, get back in. And so here I am, got a big belly, about 6 months pregnant, and I think I had just started grad school. Yeah, it was 2006. I had just started grad school, and me and my baby girl was going to the library, and I got in, same thing, door open. It was an old car, put it in reverse. Well, I didn't put it in reverse yet, excuse me. My daughter was sitting on the armrest, and she says, "Mommy, how do you reverse a car? Like, how do you know to do that?" And I was like, "Oh, it's simple. You just kind of kick the accelerator." From what I said to what she heard, she reached over, and she's lone like I am, so she, boom, kicked the accelerator. When she kicked the accelerator, I flew out the car, but I held on to the steering wheels. And I'm pretty long. And so we lived on a hill. So from the hill is the street where traffic is nonstop. And so the car, I'm being drugged at the car. She's sitting there, and I'm holding onto the steering wheel. So I'm taking a beating by the pavement because I'm long. And I'm going down, and I look back, and I saw across the street was a porcelain toilet sitting outside, like somebody had gutted out their house and fixing it. And I remember looking, and I remember saying, "Jesus, have mercy." And then boom, I flew up in the air and came down on my 6 month belly. The car kept going. It hit a pole. And I remember my daughter running back down, Mommy. And I gained consciousness for a second, and I sat up and I said, go get your daddy. And then boom, I passed back out. So I remember coming back to, and I was in a helicopter, and they took me to the ER. And I remember being in the ER, and I could hear the doctors saying that, hey, we're not going to be able to save her ear. We're going to have to cut it off, because they were going to cut this ear completely off. In walked Dr. Castellion, famous Melbourne surgeon. And I can hear them, because I'm in and out. I can hear them say, Dr. Castellion, what are you doing here? And I heard him say, I don't know. And it was like, we haven't seen you in years. What are you doing in the ER? And it was some more talking, but it was very distant. And I couldn't quite make out what they were saying. But I remember him scrubbing in. He's scrubbing in. And he came and he said, what do we have here? And I was 30 at the time. And he said, 30-year-old black female. And they started kind of describing what happened or the injuries that I had. And immediately he started operating on my ear. So he did plastic surgery on my ear. That's why it looks so good. It really does. You can't, like, you can see that this sticks out some, but that's about it. You really can't tell unless you look at the back of my ear. And mind you, this ear was hanging off, just this was on. And so the lady said to me, you must know people in high places. And I remember saying, I do. And she said, who? I said, my father. And she said, well, what's his name? And I said, God. And she says, okay. And she asked him to give me more medicine. And then I was out, and I don't remember anything else. So that was the story, right? And so I can remember when I was a little girl, and I'm not going to let this get to 10 minutes. When it gets to 10 minutes, I'll stop. If I'm not done, then I'll do a part 2, only if you want me to, because people really don't want to hear the story probably, but I just needed to share it. So I remember coming home and my husband, taking me in the house and all that stuff. And I was just so shaken up, if you can only imagine. And I was sitting in my office, and I was looking across the street where the incident was. But prior to that, when I was 12 years old, I stayed in Georgia with my dad, his wife, and my baby sisters. And I was 12 years old, and I hadn't, ever really went to church or anything. I did not grow up in church. But my stepmother, they went to church religiously, like it was a full-time job, and it was always in overtime. And it was Pentecostal. And I remember going to this church all the time. There was some good moments there and stuff, learned some stuff. But again, I'm not accustomed to the church life. So I remember the elders, the mothers. Yeah, we had mothers. I don't know what is happening in the church today, but we had mothers. And they were singing this song, I'm a soldier in the army of the Lord. And I love that song. Oh, that song was like, I used to just sing that song and sing that song. And I knew I was a soldier in the army of the Lord. And I remember them reading in the Bible, and they started talking about putting on the full armor of God, being prepared to fight this spiritual war. Yo, I was all in. So I had to tell you that story in order for you to understand what's coming next. So it's at 9:31. I'm not trying to bore you guys. And I had a light day today. So if you want to hear the second part to this story of how I got a revelation about the armor, about being a soldier, then leave me a comment, tell me part 2, or inbox me, how you guys like to do. I don't know why y'all inbox me instead of just do it, and I'll share more. All right. Talk to you soon.